cut that a bit, but that's all right. So I'm going to make some more pieces like that in bass on the old bandsaw there. All right, let's just part that off. So that was inch by inch spliced, and then we'll cut that into 5-inch lengths, and then we'll start the carving project. Alright. Well, it's a very chilly and rainy, sleety Saturday, so it's kind of cold out here, but let's see what we can do today. The way I teach is I go learn it, and then I teach how I learned it. So one of the early things that I attempted to do was to study simple ways to get facial architecture, and this was my first attempt at this. This is actually based on Tom Hines' original design, the 5-Minute Wizard, which appears in a book he wrote called 20-Minute Whittling Projects. And now I can't do this in 5 minutes. I'm sure Tom can, but I discovered this through Doug Linker's video. He put one. I'll put a link to that as well, because he shows you. He's a much more experienced carver than I am, and he does these far quicker than I do. And he's got some good tips in there. But I'm going to show you, redo that the way I do them. And so this was my first attempt at a wood wizard. Sometimes I call them wood spirits as well. And this I didn't really finish this one. I just kind of wanted to get an idea of how to build a nose and a moustache. And this could be a beard, and there's a hat here as well. Here's one I did earlier today. Now I've got a bit more experience with carving. I thought I'd have a go at this, and I've used a V-tool to carve some beard detail into that. So you can see there, I've sort of got the impression of beard hair there, and even some sort of wool effect on his hat there, and I finished the beard off. And these are all based on a simple triangle of wood that I just showed you me cutting these. I made a simple template, bass wood again, about 5 inches long. I took a 1x1 piece, and then I cut it diagonally like that to get this triangle piece. And then so I thought I'd go through. Here's a couple of designs I've got in mind. I sort of penciled in the idea. There's a sort of more of a Santa kind of guy there, and this one here, that could be a hillbilly or something, whatever you like really. These are just some of the ones I'm going to have a go at making, but I'll show you how to mark this out. So I've got this, very simple. We're going to mark out at about 2 inches. So we're going to come down about 2 inches, and I can sort of mark off from these other designs to get the distance like that to get started. So let's just do that there. I'll do the same for the top, and that's kind of a big nose on that one. I'm going to go for a slightly larger nose than I did on this one here. I could use this as a model as well, but first of all we need to make a little line on here. I could go straight back, but you really want to go down a little bit like that, just a slight angle, about 5 degrees, something like that, and then try and do the same the other side like that. Try and get that roughly straight, okay, and the same here, go across here like that, and to just kind of mark out the rim of the hat, and we can start there, okay, and then we'll add some marks to this as we start carving. So carving gloves on. And all we need to do is cut through here. So I'm going to do a stop cut first of all. So line it up with the pencil line, push that knife in, and then I'm just going to go in there and make a cut just to mark it like that. You can see how it snaps out like that. Okay, and then do the same here. I'm going to push that in. I'm going to push cut. Push the blade in, give it a wiggle, that helps get it through, and then we can just sneak off a little bit of wood there, and another stroke there just to do that. Alright, so this is a lot of fun to do because you quickly see the face popping out at you once you start getting these marked in. So the next thing we're going to do is for the eyebrows, if you like, the top of where the eyes will be. So I'm going to, and this can be a little steeper angle than this one, like that. So I'm just going to come down a little steeper. I try and look at it and square on and make sure it looks reasonably even. Okay. Alright, and we decide where the bottom of the nose is, and we're going to basically cut out for the nose like that. Alright, so we're going to cut down here and here. Okay. And then the beard, or the moustache I guess, the start of the beard, is going to come out down here. Let's mark across to there roughly, and aim at the same spot. Maybe that's too high. Let's go down a little further. Let's take that line to there. Make it a bit steeper. Up to you how you do it. This is all, you can do your own design here. So now with the nose, I'm going to go in very much square. I'm not going to go in like that or his nose will fall off. So I'm going to, let's actually start with the top cut there. So I'm going to cut into that line there. Do the same on the other side. Trying to keep that even, symmetrical with that. And push that in with my thumb. Alright, so I've got to, and now I'm going to push the knife down to start making the nose. Like that, and you can see that wood's almost starting to peel out already. Let's do the same on the other side. Depends on your grain a little bit. And now we just want to notch that out. So I'm gonna cut up toward the top there. It won't necessarily pop out immediately, but there we go. Alright. And it's fun, we're already starting to see a face coming out of the wood. It's a lot of fun doing this. Great practice as well. Let's do the same here. We're going to go in very square for the nose. I don't want to go in, I want to go this way. So I'll push pretty hard on that, getting down to where the bottom of the nose and the start of that moustache is going to be, and then I'm going to cut in again with the blade like that. See if we can tease that out. I have to go in a little bit more in the top here. Always trying not to be cutting in the direction of my digits, because that's a good way to put a big cut in them. So, even with a glove, as I've mentioned before, the gloves are good for protecting against this kind of cut. As you can see, I can quite safely run that blade over, but if I stab myself, they really can't do anything about that. There's only so much the glove will do. And that's quite stubborn. I think the grain is a little, there we go, heard it click. The grain in there is a little bit more angular, so it's going to give me a little trouble. We've got some knotting going on around the wood there. There you go. So you can see his face starting to appear. So what do we do next? A couple of things. One thing to do is to follow that line with the knife like that, trying to point it outwards. You could do a straight line as well, depends what sort of look you want, but I'm just going to run that in there like that, following that pencil line, and then we're just going to try and notch out the beginnings of that moustache there. Okay. Now you can get the knife in and run down it like that. As you get more practice. I'm not very good at that very good at doing this kind of thing. I tend to go with straight cuts more. Curves are a little harder, but we'll try that. That's a start. Same here. I already did that line. I'll try and tease that out there with the tip of my knife there. Okay. So you can see, actually it might be good to take some of these edges off, because you can see it breaks very easily because it's just thin. So I'm just going to run this knife up just to give myself a little more strength on there. Very sharp edges those. So actually I need to go this way. You can tell by the grain. Be aware of your grain. Even on wood as soft as bass or lime, it will influence how deep the knife goes in. So if you're going against the grain, it'll dive in and follow it. So you don't always want that, right? All right, let's clean up that eye a little bit there. Eye socket, let's clean that out. Looks a little raggedy. That one needs to go in a bit deeper, like that. There it is. Okay. Now let's make the shape of the nose. Actually, first of all, let's just put a little stop cut in the top there. It's actually already there from earlier, and just take his nose back a bit, because again that's very delicate, so we'll shape that up a bit later. Now I'm going to dive in here like that, and the same this way. Start cutting the base of the nose, okay, like that, and then we can start cutting that away. I'm just going to do multiple cuts up to that stop cut there, just to start making the nose stick out a little. Alright, okay, good. Like that. Clean that eye out a bit. I like to have to not come back to those too often. So I'll try and get some of those little fuzzies out of there. There we go. Just a little bit rough on this side. That grain's a bit odd there. Not sure what's going on with that, but anyway. Starting to look like a face, isn't it? Now it looks a bit beaky at the moment, so I'm going to flatten that nose a little more. There we go. Okay, lovely. Right, let's take some of this off. We're going to take off that front sharp edge. Just use some push cuts there to slice that off and start to shape what will eventually be the beard. Let's do the same for the top of the hat here. See that the grain took off. It actually snapped off. It's the grain. You see the direction of the grain? It cut following the grain. So you have to kind of watch it a bit for that. Now, depending on what shape we want, let's put another groove in here. So I'll do another push cut there and just snap a little wood out of there. Okay. Just to kind of make a start on what will be the edge of his hat. Alright, and then go across here as well. Do the same again. Like I said, the wood grain on this side is doing odd things. Let's go this way. I'm cutting towards myself. If I'm putting pressure on the blade and coming towards myself, it's time to switch over. Otherwise bad things happen. Alright, let's cut that in a bit there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that grain's very odd right there. Not sure what's going on with it. Alright, and so let's what type of hat are we going to have on this fella? Let's just go with what I did here. So we can carve out, if we go to the side here, I can start shaping out. I'll quickly cut into that like that, and then start to carve the shape of the hat, give it a sort of more rounded look. That's, oh look, you see there's that grain again. That's going with the grain there. So that dug in a bit deeper than I wanted, and it's still doing it. I've got to be careful here. Oh, like that. Look at that. Now, that's actually a good learning opportunity. So it's changed I snapped too much off there. So we could go with a different shaped hat. Yeah, let's do that. So be ready to adjust your design. Let the wood kind of tell you sometimes what it's going to let you do. There we go. Alright, so we'll do more of a... Now you could either bend it this way, or we could just have a straighter hat. Let's just go with a straighter hat. It'll be quicker and easier anyway. So we'll just give him a... like that kind of hat. Doesn't matter what it is really. Like I'm always saying, it's your design. Do what you like, you know. Have fun with it. Change it up. Gonna end up with a pointy hat if this grain keeps misbehaving. It's not letting me shape it too easily, so I'm gonna actually start going with the pointy hat idea. Yeah. Like that. Let's round it off at the top. Careful, this grain is really at quite a, yeah, look at the angle of the grain through here. So the straighter the grain, the easier it's going to be to carve, and more predictable I should say it will be. But let's try and scoop some out of the bottom here like that. See how it's furring up like that? I've got to come down now. It's the only way I'm going to get that off without the grain working against me. This particular block of bass I've been using, I've run into this a few times with the angled grain. It's actually quite difficult to work. But you play the hand you got, right? So anyway, so it's changed our design a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Now I'm just gonna let's create a bit more shape to the face. Let's carve that out. So we get a bit more shaping around the, kind of making this forehead there. Let's cut into that. Again, trying to get some shape going to the face, and again I've got to be aware of my grain here, because I'm literally going with it right there. So that's not going to cooperate necessarily. It's better if you're going slightly across the grain. Alright, I'll make sure I keep that even. Yeah, now I've got to take that edge off. And then drop that in like that. There we go. And just take that off for strength. Okay, alright. So there's his hat. Alright, we'll get back to the face in a moment. Alright, let's Let's leave it at that for now. Alright. Let's bring the side of his face down a little bit. Now, following down to that moustache there, do the same on this side. Oops, I'm cutting towards myself again there. And then follow the moustache like that. Alright. Okay. Well, not quite even, let's take a bit more off there. Really trying to get some symmetry. Oh, I think I took too much off now, let's do the other side. As long as I do the same on both sides, it looks deliberate, right? So if I mess up one side, just take a bit more off the other. You know, obviously, within reason, I can get away with that. Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? Alright, and bring that down a bit, tidy that up. Tidy up the moustache. Alright, let's do a bit of that this side as well. I should probably just I'll just go along like that. I think just to get some more depth. I like high relief on these wherever possible. And we'll come back to that in a minute. We've got more to do on the nose anyway. Let's just tidy that up. Right, okay, now the mouth. So if we're looking at this mold pattern here, the mouth can start about down here. We could put, you know, when you're learning, use a pencil to try and make sure you're going to get, before you cut it, eventually you'll probably be able to do it without really marking much out. You find yourself just doing it, you know. But to start with, a pencil helps you avoid mistakes, I guess. So I'm going to bring that down here, and so we're going to cut, basically we're going to cut out here, here, alright, and then we're going to cut in, so we're going to end up with that sort of effect, cutting this area out here. Alright, so more stop cuts. Just grab the knife, dive that in like that. You see that? Get that in nice and deep. So it's kind of where it's sort of a hint at where the mouth is going to be. So push that in again, and now we're just going to start using the blade to lift that out and clean that up like that. Using the heel of the blade there so I can get in a little better. There we go. Okay. let's bring that beard a bit deeper down now. And start really getting some shape on the moustache there. Do the same on this side. Like that. Yeah. That's funny, there's like a wood grain, like a pith going in there, sort of dividing his beard up. What's the chances of that? Eh? Sort of like just in the right spot. Looks like a pencil line, but that's actually the natural wood. Okay. Alright, let's shape the beard a bit now. So let's decide what we're going to do with that. With his beard, so maybe something just simple like that. Just a nice round, neatly trimmed job like that. Okay, so I'll mark that down here, just roughly what we want, like that, and that should be fairly. Because it's a thin, it's very quick and easy to carve. So I can see why Tom calls these his 5-minute wizards, because they are. It's a very easy carving. You could do this in a solid piece as well. I did some examples earlier when I was practicing. These are some of my practice pieces that I did, where I tried to actually carve it from an inch square there, and started to develop the character's face. There's another one. So, you know, once you get some more experience, you can practice making sort of more three-dimensional ones. But it was really just a case of getting used to doing the facial architecture. Anyway, let's get that. I'm going to take a lot off the bottom here. Let's come down there. I think the grain's going to help me with this one a bit, because it's going in that direction anyway, on that side. Look. Alright, that's going around. Thin it out at the bottom. So I'm going to take some big cuts, and notice I'm doing a sweep cut there. Just using my thumb to leverage it. A lot of control, and you can get in quite deep and get rid of a lot of material that way. So that's not a bad cut to practice, a sweeping cut like that. Okay. And get that nice and rounded at the bottom. Let's get some more material off here. Make sure it's kind of even. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, like that. More sweep cuts. Maybe I'll try and make his beard sort of pop out at the bottom if I do scoopy cuts here. It helps get a bit more shape, a bit more interest into that. Okay, let's take that sharp edge off there. Always get rid of your sharp edges, they're just asking to get damaged otherwise. Alright, nibble that off at the bottom, round it off. And that's easy to do because you're just doing a push cut across the grain like that, and that's how you can shape it. A cross grain is just buttery, it's lovely. You can hear it, can't you? Zip. You just hear how it's cutting. The sharpness of the knife is where that. That's why I want to keep them super sharp, so you can do this stuff and it's almost no effort. It's very satisfying. Okay, like that. Boom. 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 How are we doing? How's he coming on? Yeah, he's getting there, isn't he? So he's got a skinnier hat than I planned, but that's fine. I'll topple that over a bit more. Let it go with the grain a bit. Okay. Now one thing we've got to do is do a little bit more work on the nose and the cheeks. Let's just clean those up a little bit. So I'm going to actually bring this. Let's take the top, that sharp edge off the off there, and then take the bridge of his nose in again, just to strengthen that up. Okay. Alright, and we can round that a bit, some smaller cuts. Alright. Okay, let's flatten his forehead a little bit more, because he's a bit pointy otherwise. Try and make him look a bit more rounded. Same with this front piece, let's slice that off. And let's try and round these a bit. And this way, I think it takes a bit more than 5 minutes, certainly for me to do these, because I like to go and fuss with it a bit and round things off a bit. And of course there's the painting time, but it takes a bit longer. And when the grain's working against you, maybe we'll do a sort of a stop cut there, so we got a fabric effect. And let's bring that round. Like a crease in his hat, like that. That way you're going deeper into the grain, you're not going with the grain. And so we're kind of using that for an effect. And let's round that a bit. So we can get underneath that. Soften that edge a bit awkward carving down in this direction. I haven't much to get hold of really. Right, we'll do what we can. There we go. Okay. Let's put another groove like that, just to see what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to put some texture into the hat a little bit, make it look more like fabric. Let's put one in here as well. Didn't really intended on doing any of that, but yeah, so there we go. Alright, continuing, rounding these things off. We've got kind of a sharp edge there, so let's bring the side of the face in a bit further. Tidy that up there and then take the sharp edge off. Same there. Let's try and round it a bit. Just so we haven't really got those flat bits on it, you know. There we go. Alright, a bit uneven on the hat, but I'll just go around and like that and make that a bit more like it's joined, like there's a rim on it or something. There we go. Alright, he's more or less there. Now let's just do a little bit more with the face, because there's some thin bits. Let's round off his cheeks a bit here and bring those down more to the beard. So I'm going to shallow out that groove here a little further. Could go a little deeper actually on that too, especially near the nose. I'm going to go in near the nose like that. And then try and snip that out. Make that a bit deeper, so let's try that here as well. Go in there, go in there a little, and go in there, just to make that. There we go, that one went better than the other side. The grain was a bit more forgiving there. I'm just going to gently round that too. And here. Not too much. I don't mind the flat planes on there. It's kind of a fan of the flat plane carving look, frankly. And then tidy the bottom of that cap up. Like that. What do you think? That's getting pretty much there, isn't it? Not much more to do there. Bit of tidying up around the side here. Tidy up that moustache a little bit more. Just want to get rid of these fuzzy bits now. That looks a bit tatty in there too. I'm going to go deeper underneath to kind of emphasise the moustache and cut some of these cut lines out of the underneath of the moustache there. So try and get those out. Sorry for that grain, it's really messing with me in there. That little sort of pithy bit looks funny. I'll have to paint that out, I think. But anyway, just go in there a little deeper where the mouth goes. Don't really draw his mouth, but there we go. And that, let's tidy up around his eye. That's not very good there. His eyebrows are uneven. That's it. Still a bit untidy. Alright. Tidy him up a bit. You can hear that rain, or that sleet that's pouring down outside. Let's tidy this up as well. This looks a bit tatty. And there we go. It's getting colder in here because I have to turn the heater off, otherwise you'll hear it running. It'll spoil the video. Alright, let's shallow that a bit. Like that. Clean up around the nose, especially around the top there. Now what I would do is probably paint some eyes in there. Actually that eye area is smaller. I'm going to make that slightly deeper. Again, try and keep him, you know, symmetrical as best I can. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, so there he is, and I can put a beard on him now. Just round that a bit there. Keep seeing things I want to do with it, and you'll find you do that. You'll be looking at it, you think, oh no, I don't like that bit. Go, you know. It doesn't matter if it don't take 5 minutes, does it? It takes 20, and you're happy with it. It's 20 minutes of fun you just had, isn't it? That's the way I see it. Okay, round that a bit. Yeah, actually got some of the milled wood there, which will paint differently. You have to be careful with that. I milled, where I cut this originally, that bit there is very flat. So I should probably take a bit more off here and just round that slightly so I don't have milled wood on the moustache. Take a thin slither off. I've got to be careful though, because that grain's dodgy there, isn't it? Just try going the other way. Like that. And I've got a pencil line there. I'm going to narrow it off a bit there. Alright. Anyway, we're getting there. How's that? Are you looking fairly even? Actually, that moustache is deeper and coming down further than this one. I'm going to try and balance that up a bit. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea, and then we can, well, you can paint some little eyes in there if you want. I'll just do a pencil to get an idea of where they'll be, which has actually revealed that this eye socket isn't as deep as the other one. I'm going to go in a bit further. Sorry mate, going to be one-eyed for a moment here. There it is. Get the fuzzies out. Now another thing I could do is I could use a groove tool, a V tool or something to put a beard detail in like I did with this guy here. There's a little V tool I ran down, I kind of like that effect. Makes it a bit more interesting to look at texture wise, you know. But there you go, one wood wizard, or a wood spirit, or whatever you'd like to call it. Alright, hope that was helpful. Go practice that and be safe, make sure you use your glove and keep your knife super sharp so that you don't have any accidents. Alright, enjoy.